I think it's interesting just watching all of them, because I often kind of think, you know, because there's various other people sort of pass through Designers Republic, you know, and or, you know, you collaborate with other people and maybe talk about their businesses at whatever stage they are. But most of them have come from more traditional kind of studio business type things. You know, and one of the reasons, well, I think there's two reasons why Designers Republic wasn't a traditional business. One was because I never set up as a business and never had any intention of having a business, and only took people on when, you know, it was an organic process, and it took people on. If you've got more work than you can handle, you take somebody else on. There was never like, let's do a business plan and look at cash flow, which obviously was a problem later on. But but you know, but there's a sort of sense that kind of there was no business. There was no business as such. It was you know, it was a team, a gang, you know, or whatever. But then it was quite interesting to see how each of these kind of set up, having not really had the benefit of being able to learn a particular business model in their Designers Republic sort of career. You know, it's not like you're going to leave and say, okay, right now I know how to kind of run the business and deal with, you know.
Yeah, it had massive advantages, but those are disadvantages of I think one of the biggest ones that I found when I started employing people was the traditional, what you're supposed to do in the traditional structure of a studio, like creative director, senior designer, junior designer. It's like, well, just, I don't know what you do, just literally design. I'm used to just designing and still do, you know, that's it. And then somebody else, I would expect them to do the same, but at certain points it became quite apparent for us when we were kind of growing that it was like, shit, it was amazing, but now it's like, how the hell do I run this thing, you know? So
and they want holidays and things like that.
But equally, you know, sort of it is really fascinating, sort of, you know, sort of becoming a boss, and then you kind of realise how tough it was. So I think sometimes we're quite hard with it, and I know I could have been, but you kind of realise now actually it's running the business is a really tough thing. It's quite a boring thing to say, but it is really tough.
Yeah. I think what it made me realise was that by putting the business structure in place enabled your creative work to thrive more. And I think it was great that we focused. It was all about work, and it was the output that drove the success of DR completely. And plus, obviously, your vision and planning of things. But I guess my approach changed a bit in the sense of thinking, right, there's loads of stuff I want to do beyond two-dimensional record sleeves and things, and other dimensions like time and moving image and sound and interaction and things. And I just knew that I wouldn't be able to do that on my own. So therefore I did have to learn to be a kind of manager or a kind of coach of people. So based on that, I just figured I better figure out how to learn a little bit about business. But I never wrote a business plan or anything. I just kind of wanted to be a mix of Michael Gondry, high res, and Zaha Hadid all at once.
Physically.
It would have been a beautiful baby.
One of the reasons that I think I left as well is at the time that I was having that itch to leave. It was also DR was going through a bit of a change and becoming a bit more properly organised, and I think I reacted against that a little bit. I was like, well, I kind of missed this gang, what we did when we were the pack of wolves, like underneath designing stuff. And I left and then quickly realised I kind of had to organise my time and try to figure things out. But and I've learned that along the way since. But I think that the like I said before, the autonomy that we were allowed and the client skills that we had allowed us to just jump in and have a go at it and figure it out on the fly, because we could do it.
I think it's definitely, you know, looking back, that for me was the huge impetus for me to go, was the fact that I felt that we were going in, the company was going in a different direction, and I felt that I personally had wanted to keep doing experimental stuff, and the studio obviously did, but doing it for bigger clients, and the fact that I wasn't steering that for me was a bit like, well, I'm potentially going into something that, yes, we have a say, but ultimately it's Ian's ball. That it was, you know, that was for me was just like, shit, no, I can't do this anymore. And it's and you know, it was an incredible, you know, the thing was really draining in terms of work, because it was seriously hard work. and a lot of hard work goes into this thing. It might look easy, but it wasn't, because it was incredibly tough at times, the amount of hours that we used to do. So yeah, for me it was just, I just needed just to do my own thing and have a bit of a break, to be honest.
You realise that you're either a designer with a team around you, of whatever hierarchy or however it works, or you're an empire builder who just wants to build a big agency, a bigger and bigger and bigger agency. You know, and for me, I kind of went down that kind of route and realised that it was, you know...
The hardest thing is to say no, isn't
The
it?
two most successful years I had financially were the two most miserable, fucking awful years of having meetings and employing people that I only employed to work for clients I didn't really want to work with.
Yeah.
So I employed people I didn't want to. I'm not nothing against them particularly, but I didn't particularly want them, you know, in my sort of sphere of godlike genius. And I, you know, and the clients were great, but sometimes if you did really well with a corporate client, you kind of get a job in another part of that organisation. So the people that you love working with aren't involved in that project, and you're just talking to people that, you know, and then you make that decision: is what is most important? Do I want to do what I want to do for other people and do it well, and accept that not everybody's going to want that? Or do I just become a service industry where I might as well be a carpet cleaner or, you know, a mechanic or something, because really all you're doing is, you know.
Yeah.
I think what you've just said there, that's what really helped me when I set up my business, was seeing that basically at first hand.
And not doing it that way.
And deciding that I was going to work.
I'll go in the other way.
I was going to employ people that I like, you know, and only people I like, and
That's
people
not
I want to
right,
work with, and
is it?
people that I want to surround myself with, you know, and hopefully as well, just work with people that we like working with, and that's something we've always done. And if we find someone we like working with them, then we try and do more with them, you know. So that certainly helped me, you know. And I think the other thing or the main thing about Designers Republic that helped me when I set up and informed me was the fact that you don't have to, there's not a standard way of doing things, you know. That you don't have to do it the expected way. You do what's right for you and what you think is correct and fits. Yeah.
When it comes to employing people, what I always try and do, because the people who work with me are dotted around the country, they're not all in Sheffield, is just my rule is we only take on projects that we would want to show on the front of our website or to show people, and that's the way I feel motivates people, because they get to, you know, get the credit and get the exposure for the work they've done every time. There's no kind of secret logo for a carpenter or something that no one ever sees, something like that.
This is a kind of, as a piece of advice, it's kind of idealistic, but it's kind of a cliche, but I think it's still really relevant, and that is just, you know, be true to yourself. And I think that you have to be, and those people who have got the skills and the wherewithal in terms of personality and being able to problem solve and deal with people, they'll find the level, and they'll find the right people to do it. And there's a lot of people that, I mean, because I teach at Manchester School of Art, you know, as an AL now, and but there's a lot of students who I think have got a lot of potential that leave, and then I find out where they're working, and they've kind of gone for the first job because they're scared about what, and they just think, like, if you'd have just, you know. I'm not. Again, I know, you know, if you've got student debt and everything, it's just very easy to say, you know, just stay on the dole or don't take the first job or whatever. But I think that, you know, if you believe in yourself, then, which you should do, and as a designer, you should, by the time you leave university, you should know yourself as a designer, because if you don't know yourself, then it's very difficult to. If you don't understand yourself, it's very difficult to understand other people, i.e. clients. So you need to have that kind of confidence. So, you know.
I think coming to a piece of advice for me would be to embrace failure as much as success, and not be afraid of that. When I left DI, I was having all sorts of inner sort of turmoil about whether I should leave and stuff, because I had responsibilities. I had a young family at the time. We just bought a house, all that sort of thing. And I met somebody on holiday who said, who'd set up a business and had failed. They'd left a big company and they'd set up a business. He was a travel agent guy, and it failed. He said that he learned so much from that failure that he was then able to do it right. And that was the moment where I went, that was like a bit of a penny drop moment for me.
Like a lot of things that we've all been saying, it's a lot easier to, if you need to stay up late, if you need, if you need to take out a third mortgage or whatever you need to do, if it's something that you love doing, it makes it all a lot easier. And also, when you're meeting people, when you're recruiting people, when you just have a natural enthusiasm that comes from you because it's what you love doing. You don't have to. There's no pretense. It's just.
It's attractive. If you're confident, it's attractive to clients.
Yeah.
I think mine would be just complementing the other things. Is like attracts like. Just as an example, if you're a young studio and you're wanting to, your dream project is, whatever it might be, I don't know, architectural signage or something, just once you've got a real world project in that genre, then it attracts more of that. So, when we wanted to get into doing more video art work, we just released our own DVD. And basically that attracted so many different commissions off the back of that, just because people thought, oh, they're the video art guys now, So it's, and we've always done that, always just thought about what would we like to do next. And then even if you don't do it as a real world project, you just do a mock-up of it or something, but just put that stake in the ground of we do this. And then, clients rarely have the imagination to see, oh, that's a nice music video, let's get them to do a chair. So you need to do the chair if you want to design chairs, and they tend to just respond to what they've seen in front of them and want the same again. So